Hey everyone, and welcome. Get ready, because today we are heading out on an epic adventure to check out one of the biggest, most incredible wonders of the entire world, the Great Wall of China. Let's get right into it.
Okay, first things first. Big are we talking? Well, get this. The Great Wall is about 13,000 miles long. Can you even picture that? I mean, if you could take the wall and stretch it out in a straight line, it would go all the way across the United States and then all the way back again. Wow.
So that is a lot of wall, which makes you wonder, right? Why? Why would anyone build something so absolutely enormous? Well, to get that answer, we've got to jump in a time machine and go way back.
So, our first stop is all about a truly great wall. And it all started because an emperor had a really big problem. Okay, so picture this. We're going back more than 2,000 years, back to a time when the super powerful rulers, the emperors of China, were in charge. But, even with all their power, they had this one giant worry they just couldn't shake.
And that problem? Invaders. Yeah, you had these groups of warriors from the north who were always trying to storm in to take over their land. The whole kingdom needed a way to protect itself, and fast.
So, who exactly were these emperors? Well, an emperor is basically a ruler of a huge empire. Just think of the most powerful king you can imagine, and then make him even more powerful. And yeah, it was their job to figure out this whole invader situation. So, what did they do? They came up with a really big idea. They said, let's build the biggest, strongest wall ever. But here's the thing, they didn't build all 13,000 miles in one go. Nope. The Great Wall was actually built over hundreds of years, kind of like connecting a bunch of smaller walls together to make one giant one. All right, so how on earth did they actually build this thing? That brings us to our next section, building the Stone Dragon. We're talking about maybe the biggest construction project in the history of the world. So what do you even build a wall this big out of? Well, the builders were super resourceful. I mean, it's not like they could just order stuff online, right? They used whatever they could find nearby. If they were in the mountains, they used stone. If they were on flat land, they used dirt packed down really tight. They also used bricks, wood, pretty much anything they could get their hands on.
And building it was just an incredible amount of work. We're talking millions of people. Farmers, soldiers, everybody pitched in. And here's the craziest part. They had no modern machines. No big trucks, no cranes, nothing. Every single heavy stone had to be carried by hand or on the backs of horses and donkeys, all the way up these steep mountains. And they built it so wide on top that you could ride 5 horses next to each other.
Now, the wall wasn't just a big barrier. It actually had a really clever secret. For its time, it was basically a high-tech alarm system.
All along the top of the wall, you'll see these tall towers. They're called watchtowers, and you can think of them as the eyes of the wall. Soldiers would stand guard up there 24/7, just scanning the horizon for any sign of trouble.
And here's how their alarm system worked. So if a guard way up in a watchtower spotted enemies coming, he couldn't just pick up the phone. Instead, he'd light a fire. During the day, that would create this huge puff of smoke, and at night, it would be a super bright fire. Then the guards in the next tower would see it, and they'd light their fire, and on it went down the line.
It was like a giant game of telephone using smoke and fire. A warning message could travel for hundreds of miles in just a few hours, which is way faster than a person on a horse could ever go. It gave the army plenty of time to get ready for an attack. Pretty smart, huh? So that's what the wall was for way back then. But what about now? What does this amazing wonder of the world mean to us today? And this is what's so cool. The wall's job has completely changed. Back in the day, its whole purpose was to keep people out. But today, its purpose is to invite people in. It went from being patrolled by soldiers to being walked on by tourists. It's not really a symbol of power anymore. It's a symbol of amazing teamwork and hard work.
Today, the Great Wall isn't for defense at all. It's one of the most famous landmarks on the planet. People from every single country you can think of travel there just to walk on this incredible piece of history. And it's cool because some parts are fixed up so you can see what they look like, but other parts are still old and crumbly, which really shows you just how ancient it is.
You know,
When you see it winding its way over the tops of all those mountains, you can totally see why some people call it a dragon of stone sleeping on the mountains. It's a perfect description.
So, the Great Wall is so much more than just a wall. It's a story about solving problems, about human effort, and about how things can change over time. It shows us that something built for one reason can become something totally different and beautiful for the entire world. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What do you think makes a wonder wonderful?